minutes watching these two degenerates grind against each other, and I'm thinking, this behavior is simply unacceptable. Now, if you think this is an isolated incident, you are dead to rights wrong. I have 36 hours of footage to prove it that I have personally collected from sickos just around my own town. For example, I saw perverts having sex in swimming pools clearly visible from the roofs of adjacent buildings, on boats that anybody could see with a telescope, at night on the beaches where they can easily be watched by anyone hiding behind a fence wearing their night vision goggles. It's simply disgusting.
This is the Onion News.
Put the kids to bed. Get them far, far away from your radio. I'm here to corrupt your mind. This is Flaming Freedom, and we are back. Sans Delbert. Yes, we killed him and ate him. And tonight, celebrating with some new co-hosts, we have Joe Jarvis and Shire Dude. Hey, guys.
Hey, great to be here.
How's it going?
It's really good. It is a good day. You know, I had an interview today with a New York Times video journalist, and he wanted to ask me about the Free State Project and about the activism in Keene, and it was super cool. I want to talk a little bit about that. Hey, and Joe, do you know they were talking about you today on Free Talk Live?
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't listen to the actual what they were saying, though.
Yeah, they were talking about your article about why we should not thank military personnel, people who join the military, for protecting our freedom, because that's not really what they do.
Right, yeah. As much as, you know, they think they're sacrificing, unfortunately, they're not really protecting our freedom, so it is kind of harmful to keep perpetuating that.
Well, they went through all of your bullet points, and then at the end mentioned, oh, hey, by the way, this is at joejarvis.me, and this guy wrote a book. So you should
Yeah, the book.
How's that been going? You just released your book like a week or two ago, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. It's been going great. It's you know, I'm lining up a few events here and there. And Derek, do you have a copy? I feel like I need to send you one.
No, I don't have a copy. In fact, I wanted to wait and do it on the show. So I'm going to be ordering my copy just to show everyone, because you can buy it in Bitcoin, right?
Perfect. Yeah, you can buy it right on FPP.
All right. So that's something I'll have ready for the next segment. We've got that at fpp.cc.
I think it's on sale right now, too.
.cc. What is it? What's he say? Creative censorship?
As in Creative Commons.
Creative
right?
Commons. Right. Thank you. And I don't know, where is it? I'm trying to navigate the site. I'm here at fpp.cc. What do I have to do? Book/book? Whatever. We'll figure it out on the next break. Shire Dude, what are you doing these days? You still do Rebel Love Show? It's like that too end?
It's like this too is on a hiatus. That's like an interview series, and but Rebel Love Show, yeah, we're still doing live Tuesday nights on LRN. It's the Tuesday slot at 10 to midnight, and that's been a lot of fun. You can see I'm having a lot of fun putting the studio together with the green screen and the lighting and whatnot.
Your studio looks sick. For people who aren't following along yet, go to flamingfreedom.com/live, and you can actually watch live video of this program and join in a chat room, a lively chat room. We've got a few familiar faces already signed in. So, yeah, check us out, flamingfreedom.com/live. And if you haven't already joined the Facebook page just for you, Queer Anarchists, do that. Facebook.com/group/Gaynarchists. That's where I found these two co-hosts. Just posted up in the Gaynarchists group. Oh, hey guys, we lost Dale as a co-host, and boom, to the rescue came, I think, like 5 different people within a week. So good job. That's pretty cool. We got a lively community there. And you both sound creamy. We've all got good audio going on. Perfected that before the show.
I always like to sound creamy.
Absolutely.
So. I want to go a couple of the articles. We will get to the story. I should talk about, before we get to MDMA, the DEA, first of all, this is big news, has approved the first drug trial of MDMA, ecstasy, to treat anxiety and depression. Big deal that they're finally approving a drug trial. That means it could be an over-the-counter, you can go buy this type drug once again. which would be really exciting in my world. But anyway, so no, I was sharing a little bit before the show that I was talking with this New York Times video journalist, and he was asking a little bit about Keen and Porkfest in particular. He was like, I heard there are people with firearms and psychedelics.
Oh my.
The perfect mixture.
I was like, yes, it's true. You know, one of the fun things about Porkfest is that it's this experiment in freedom, and one of the things you find when people are free is that they do a pretty good job with personal responsibility. It's incentivized, you know, and
you see other people step in. If they're not doing a good job, you see other people step in. You know, it's not a force thing. It's not like, oh, we're gonna call somebody. It's like, hey, can you stop doing this, please? Because you don't want to give everybody a bad name.
And I don't even know if that happening. Like, I don't know of anyone who's taken psychedelics at Porkfest and had a bad time. I feel like word of that would get round. Like, I'm sure there have been people who have had maybe negative parts of their trip or whatever, but no one who went around like slashing tires, lighting things on fire, or jumping out windows. There's none of those stories. So either internal security is working really well, or people are personally responsible, and it's nice to just have freedom and be treated like an adult.
Right, and like, how many Porkfests is it now? Are we going on like 12 now?
Yeah, this is 12.
Yeah, 12 Porkfests with no incidents like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, although knock on wood, like I don't want to be the guy who starts making that happen now that I've said that. But yeah, alcohol I think should be the biggest concern of anyone. You know, if they're talking about firearm safety, I feel like for me, if like I've never walked. Well, I don't know. I feel like I have walked around on psychedelics, open carrying, but I never felt inclined to use it. I feel like with alcohol or whatever, I feel like I don't know. I'm just drug hating now. I shouldn't say alcohol is bad and other drugs are good, but that's sort of how I feel. Anyway, yeah, this guy was sort of out of touch about it. Another way that he was asking me that seemed really strange was, do people really buy the self-defense argument for carrying firearms in New Hampshire? Like, that question just didn't compute. There was a lot of things like that he said to me that didn't really compute. Like, Shire Dude, maybe this one will sound as strange to you as it did to me. Are there many politicians who self-describe as FSP?
Well, why wouldn't they? FSP is, I mean, the FSP is just the movement, right? Many politicians that self-identify as FSP, like it's like something to be ashamed of or something. I don't know.
I didn't even get the question. I was like, what? What are you talking about? FSP, for those who aren't familiar, is the Free State Project. It's the idea that 20,000 people who love freedom move to the same place and do things for more freedom there altogether. So,
right, and it doesn't even specify what practice you do to get more freedom. So self-identifying as FSP isn't really saying anything about your positions on most things, right?
Right, about anything, basically. I was like, no, the people who run for office run as Republicans and Democrats, and maybe Libertarian. Like, they don't run as FSP. It's not some political party. Like, I don't know. That seems to be the outside perception that this mainstream journalist had. You know, he had done a little research from the outside, and he thought there was a group of people in here who's taken over.
I think they want to turn it into a cult. Like, it seems like they often want to do that and just be like, oh, it's a scary thing. Because if it's just like a loose knit, you know, like, oh, let's all just go to New Hampshire and like try to make this a good place, then I feel like they feel like they have less control, you know?
Who has less control?
Like the reporter, his people, like he would feel like there's less control if it's not as organized into a cult in his mind. He just wants to just put it into like a little, like it's just this group of people. We just have to deal with these people. He doesn't want to think of it as like a larger movement.
He asked me about that too. Like, do you call it a movement? And I was like, no, movement makes me think of bowel movement. I call it a community.
It's a better way to refer to it.
Community, isn't there some cult show like? I know Community. That's a comedy show about
Yeah, that's a great comedy show about a community college.
Right, but I'm talking. Isn't there also another cult show where it's about this group of people who all wears white and smoke cigarettes and like they call their thing the community or the family? But there needs to be a better term for it because it sounds super culty. Joe's right. You need to find some words.
No, you just do no labels, Derek.
No, but how do you talk to a journalist with no labels? You got to say. He asked me, "What do you call it? A movement? Is that a good word for it?"
I don't know. No, just call them your friends. I'm with my friends.
I'm with my friend. I like that. I found
got my crew.
Yeah, up in New Hampshire. New Hamster.
I love my magic mud. I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, he
I had
does.
stains on my teeth. Then I found my magic
Hi,
mud.
buddy. How's it going?
Stain.
I got like a whole studio full of people now.
Really? Who do we got? Put him on.
Come on over. Come say hi. Actually, I can just switch camera angles right now.
Why do I gotta get up?
Yeah, Robert
There's some
Matthias.
people. Ellen's kind of out of it. You gotta get more that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Rob, Ann, and Ellen here.
Rebel Lovers. What a great studio. You and who is it? Brett Vinat are vying for best Liberty Studio.
Oh, I was just in his studio with Rob.
Nice, right?
It's fantastic. I mean, that guy, he's really got down like the whole like aesthetics, like making it just pleasing to the eye, even while you're in the studio. I'm trying to actually
in the studio. It's so
Yeah.
plush and luxury. I mean, did you see the last one in the living room studio?
I might have seen pictures of it. I've never been there though.
I wish he. I mean, I guess he does some video. I don't see them. Maybe I'm not cool enough. I'm not in the club or whatever. But boy, his studio is so nice. It makes me jealous.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, yours is super cool too.
Yeah, now with the lighting, I think it's doing really, really well. Brett has some really good lighting too.
I need to get some of your trippy background things. I was downloading that before. We're on break right now. We've got 2.5 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna get another beer then.
Okay. And then get another state-sponsored drug. I'm gonna be eating on alcohol.
Let me see here. You know, I can actually put the chat room right next to me too. Let's see what they're talking about.
Oh, nice! You put the chat room right in the screen.
I like doing that too. You know, and then the people in the chat room are like part of the show.
They are part of the show. They're part of the show to me.
Right, but now they're part of the show for the people who aren't watching live too.
Right. Yeah. Now these are on the record because usually the chat room just disappears when you close it.
Right.
It's on forever, but now it's out there forever. What shirt do you have on, Joe?
What was that?
What shirt do you have on?
What shirt?
Oh, I was asking Joe. He doesn't have didn't have his hands on.
Oh, there he is.
What?
What shirt are you wearing?
This is from a 5K I did.
Cool. How'd you do?
Well, this was actually last October. I did okay though, but I did a couple of races recently. I got about 20 minutes for 5K.
Yay! Good job. One of our fellow LRN hosts, Nick Ryder on Puke in the Gang, just ran a 1954 5K. So
nice. That's like actually about the same. The first one I got like 10 minutes faster, and then the next one I got like 20 seconds slower. Did I say minutes? I meant seconds.
Yeah, that would be a lot slower.
Yeah.
Celebrated hard after the first one. Yes, Anne.
What?
Hi, Joe.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's good.
Like the perfect
I'm good. What am I, chopped liver? No. Fuck her.
Visit keenvention.info for more and look for our page and event on Facebook. That's keenvention.info.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an member at am.lrn.fm. It's am.lrn.fm.
Yeah, welcome back. So I want to talk about some of y'all's positions on things and establish some of the anarchy cred on this gay like anarchy talk show. We like I get off on different subjects and then forget to sort of bring it home to the Liberty. So can we like Liberty 101 toss? What's that called with a ball?
Popcorn? Is that what you're talking about?
Ooh, popcorn is a good word for it, but no, that's not what I was looking for.
Hot potato? I don't.
Yeah, more like hot potato. Catch. Like I don't know, whatever. So it doesn't matter. Popcorn. So how does this how do I explain to a New York Times reporter like why what are you doing here? What are your goals? Like what would you say, Shire dude?
Oh man, what are my goals? You know, a lot of activists they set their heart on changing the hearts and minds of those around them, and like, oh, I'm gonna free your mind. I'm gonna change your behavior to make you less statist, and you'll be better that way. But I'm really tired of that. I'm really tired of the people around me being terrible statists who want to control how I live. So instead, I want to surround myself with friendly people, with nice people who don't want to control me. And the best way to do that's the Free State Project, where we're concentrating, where there's more people like us.
F yeah, man. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I did a really bad way of explaining it, though.
Even that was verbose, Like, I don't really know how you make it.
What I was saying, it didn't. I mean, so he was asking me like, well, when you get 20,000 people, or then what? I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if 2 more people show up. Like, I'm here for my freedom. My freedom is not dependent on whether or not 20,000 people show up.
That's what it is. It's like you just want to do you. You just want to say like I'm just trying to live my life. Like this isn't. I'm not even trying to do anything. I'm just trying to like live my life. Have you ever thought about what you would do if there wasn't like a state oppressing you?
Yeah, all the time, and especially today. But I couldn't come up with a good answer. I would just drive around. I mean, I feel like I would be in my jetpack. It wouldn't be a car anymore. But yeah. I would jetpack around and just see all the sights in the world. And then maybe go out into space.
Yeah, why not?
I would make trippy videos and put them on YouTube. That's what I'd do.
Good. Well, you're already doing that, so you're living your dream.
I would want to own like a weed shop, I feel like, and sell marijuana, That's something I can't do right now.
Yeah, that would be a fun thing to do. I just wonder, so I always wanted to do that, but then I feel like the wave of entrepreneurs who enter that market is going to be so huge.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then run down the cost so much. It's like, I'll just buy it at the store. I don't need to make my own coffee and sell that. I like that too, but I'll buy that at the store. Let some specialization happen. Some economies of scale. Let people focus on the weed. Although it'd be fun to be in the weed industry. Anyway.
Yeah, I think without a government, you'd see like industries boom so much that we'd all just be making really crappy art at some point. We'd all just be really terrible artists trying to pawn our art on each other, and money wouldn't be as important.
That's what's so great, that there would be so much excess that you really wouldn't even need that much money. I mean, you just kind of we almost got to that point, but it's just slowing down. The government just piled more on top of it because they thought they could take advantage of it and steal a lot of the wealth.
The efficiencies in the free market are really blowing my mind lately, though. Like, I saw there's a 3D printer that's $70, which is cheaper than a regular desk printer that you would use with paper and ink. It's pretty remarkable that technology is getting to this point where you're right, Joe. Like, money will be pretty meaningless and insignificant when everything's so efficient. You could just have whatever you need at almost no cost. Everyone could just live in luxury. I feel like that's really what Libertopia would be. It's like everyone making shitty art.
Yeah.
Well, and you can even tell because like everybody that I talk to in the Liberty movement or whatever you want to call it is
What? We still need a name for that.
The movement, yeah, I know, right?
Ugh.
But everybody's into like I just think about food. If you have food all around you, you could just make everybody spends time on their grass and stuff. It's like just make a garden instead, and and that's like a start. That's like the first step towards like self-sufficiency because it's food. So if everything around your house was just turned into this kind of forageable environment, then
Wow,
Right?
that's a trip to think about. Like walking down the street and like just being able to like pick food off of the side of the road and it's like
Exactly.
good to eat. Yeah,
I think
That's
we can do
crazy.
it.
That's somewhat a reality. That's why I started the Peace Garden here at the CAC. There's a big 14 by 10 foot garden bed that is for veggies and herbs that anyone can take. Anyone
That's
from
awesome.
the community could just pluck from. It was modeled after an idea that's already happening in Michigan, in Detroit. They've got these urban gardens. Have you seen these where like a whole city block? Detroit's big shit. Like they've got entire city blocks that they'll just sell off that had nothing on them, and they built these forests, these food forests that are a block wide, just that people can walk into and take food.
That's
Take
awesome.
bananas or whatever the hell they grow there,
Can you imagine if Detroit just became like the anarchist utopia, like just by the excess or not excess exit of government?
It's a good candidate for it, I'd say. Although a failed state is not the same as a no state. Like
The beginnings, right?
I want to get to the no state part without the failed state transition. Hopefully, I mean that would be nice. Just a peaceful separation. Hey, I'm gonna go this way.
Yeah.
My microphone could go the other way, and we'll just have peace. That's the peaceful separation I would like to get to, and that's kind of the point that I was making to the New York Times reporter. Is like, I want secession down to the individual level, so I would like to hang out with 20,000 other liberty lovers. That would be great if they came, but I'm not dependent. My freedom is not dependent on them showing up. It's not like I'm waiting for this big vote to happen, and once all these people move and pull a lever, I'll be free. It's a very different way of thinking than just pass a law and then freedom.
Or yeah, they think once you get 51%, then your goals are accomplished.
Yeah, I tried to walk him through that argument though. Like, he said that I'm contracted basically because everyone else agreed. The majority voted and they decide that there are these rules and we live in a society. And I was like, well, can I sign you up for a contract? Is that valid? He was like, what? So, like, if I said you need a BMW, it would improve your life, and I bought you one, and me and all your neighbors said, here's your bill every month. You're gonna pay for this BMW that we bought you. Is that valid, or would you object to that? And I think he got where I was coming from, basically that it's not okay to sign other people up for an agreement. If they explicitly don't agree, then that's it. You've got to leave it alone. Consent matters.
Exactly.
And that's why there is no state. We'll be right back. This is Flaming Freedom. That was a little bit of Liberty
Cato
101.
University is the Cato
I feel like that was enough.
Got some ideas in for how we wanna, what we wanna see liberty as.
What would I do in real freedom? Gosh, I should really think about that question more often because I just don't even think about it as a possibility. It sounds so horrible to say, but like liberty in a lifetime, while my goal seems so unachievable, I don't think about it within the realm of like, oh yeah, that's totally gonna happen. I'm gonna walk down the street. There's gonna be no presidents anywhere, and like no. Probably in my old age, there will still be presidents and everyone ruling. Maybe even bigger governments. Likely bigger governments, actually. Now that I think
Oceania.
Yeah, but maybe New Hampshire will be a little beacon of freedom still.
I have big hopes for the opt-out thing. It's like if a bunch of people get together and just kind of create this like city-state where they don't need the outside world and everybody's armed. It's like, what are they gonna do? I mean, I suppose they could just bomb the whole thing. I mean, I guess you never know what extent the the government will go to.
They wouldn't bomb it.
Well, not this current version, but you never know, like what it's going to be like down the road. But sorry, I didn't mean to get dark there. I was like thinking of a of like really the I was thinking of a positive thing where everybody just kind of like opts out and creates this place where we don't need government, so we wouldn't be bothered probably. Like you said, we probably wouldn't be bothered.
No, and those civil wars, where a country like the federal government of the United States would wage war against secessionist New Hampshire, those wars are always brother against brother. And it's so sad, and people don't want to do that unless it's, unless it's like really important or it's ideological or something. But when New Hampshire secedes, and I should put it that way, not if, but when New Hampshire secedes, it will be a peaceful separation, where brother and brother will say, hey, I want government, and we'll be like, I don't. Okay, you see.
That would be great. Maybe actually, hopefully that will happen.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that happening with me and my brother. Like, look, that happened. He moved out west. He loves big government. It's not that he wants to be taken care of. He's just one of those liberal, I guess, like wants to take care of others, thinks that the government's the best way to do it. And I disagree. So we moved different places, and that should be the solution. Hey, I'm glad they're talking about Derek J's victimless crime spree in the chat room. Thanks, guys. Sorry about the commercial for it. Oh my. I agree with you about that. It stresses me out too when I hear that. Oh my God! From Raptor in the beginning. Freaks me out. But the reporter said he watched it, which was pretty cool. He said he didn't expect to watch the whole movie, but ended up doing it. So that was pretty rad. It's time for another movie.
Right.
About that in my hero Kevin Smith. Like, how many years was Mallrats after Clerks? And, like, Mallrats was a bomb, and I'm so afraid of that. Like, second movie is historically a bomb. It's like the way it always happens with directors. So I'm afraid of that. Anyway.
You can watch the LRN Studio Cam and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
Hey, are you feeling good? I am. And we are here live at flamingfreedom.com/live, where there's a chat room talking about LRN, the Liberty Radio Network. We're on there. Hey, wait a minute. Check. This is horrible to do live on air, but I'm hearing a slight echo. I'm hearing a slight echo from one of you, so make sure that your headphones are in really solid. I assume it's one of my co-hosts. I'm just going to go blame them.
Oh, man.
Audio problem. It's probably one of you. This is a test we do on Freedom Fiends. Check.
Yeah. Check.
And the test is, for all you audio geeks out there, is you turn your headphones way, way, way up. The one who hears the problem, who hears the echo, you turn them way up. Then speak into your microphone, say check, and wait until you hear someone else's response. See if you can hear your echo back, that check. I shouldn't hear it the way everything's rigged up, but I am hearing a slight echo. And if we want it to be super creamy, like the Creamy D in Freedom Fiends, we have to do this test. So let me try once again and see if I hear a check. Check! And it's been removed, so that's so much nicer. Thanks, guys.
That might have been me.
Well, thanks, Shire Dude, for keeping it creamy.
We have headsets strewn across this table, so it's I just made sure I turned them all down.
Well, then that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you share my appreciation for good audio. It was one of the reasons I wanted to keep one of the prospective Gaynarchists out. What do you think about that?
For audio quality? Well, yeah, absolutely. Bad audio quality is like, I stopped listening to a show over audio quality for sure, and I don't even really consider myself like an audio snob at all.
No, but I find myself doing it even on radio now. Like when callers call into radio shows and it's hey Alex, I want to come talk to you about the Illuminati, and it's like, first of all, how many years has it been since telephones have been invented that you haven't figured out how to use a microphone? Like, back off of that thing. You don't need to give it mouth to mouth. A lot of these people calling into the radio shows, they're either too close or way too far away. You can't hear a damn thing they're saying. And it's like, okay, figure out how to use your phone before you call into this radio show. You'd think the board ops would screen them too. Anyway, sorry, like, radio show problems. It's something that bothers me. Does it bother you as a listener?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you even notice it. Most people probably don't. It's not even a problem, and I'm just bitching. Can I tell you about the DEA?
Tell me.
Approving ecstasy. MDMA apparently was outlawed in the U.S. in 1985. I'm just thinking about that Kung Fu movie. Sorry, I have such ADD. You know that Kung Fu movie? Shoot. It just came out like hours ago. They made this preview for it. It was all like digital and takes place in 1985. Anyway, we'll find a preview for you and play that on the next segment. I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to buy your book. Someone take notes and keep us on track here.
Can we get the secretary?
Yeah, we need one of us volunteer to be secretary. All right, so MDMA banned in the U.S. 1985. Since then, it went underground, reappearing in the drug club ecstasy, and more recently, Molly. Now, a San Anselmo psychiatrist, Dr. Philip Wolfson, is getting 18 people for a research project that will employ the use of the banned drug for therapeutic purposes. And the goal of the study is to see whether patients suffering from crippling anxiety, fear, or depression over a devastating diagnosis can find relative peace from several extended psychotherapy sessions under the influence of ecstasy. So what do you think?
That's interesting. I've actually never done ecstasy, which is, I know, weird, but so I'm not sure if that would be the case. But I've heard about people trying to overcome cigarette addiction with mushrooms. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I hear it's more effective than anything else.
That's crazy. Yeah, I've heard of mushrooms curing like PTSD and whatnot. I actually have a recent Molly experience where I took some for the first time. This was not even a month ago, and I kind of avoided it because I'm like, oh yeah, it's a party drug, and like it didn't really appeal to me. But after taking it, I was in a room with a couple of people, and usually I'm more of an introvert, and I'll listen to conversations, and I won't really like put out like things into the conversation. I'm way more comfortable just kind of listening, sitting in my corner, and immediately I was striking up conversations with these guys, like, oh, what about your thing? What's going on with you? And I was really like outward in my, in my being. It was very interesting.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Sounds almost like Adderall, but it probably didn't feel like that though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really like a hyper speedy kind of thing. It was more just like I was really relaxed in my own state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I definitely see the appeal.
Well, I could see it for therapeutic purposes too. I could see, that from my experience, yeah, I want to talk to people, and even more than talking with people, I don't know if you had any experience being alone on it also, but I just sort of delved into memories and almost like repaired relationships from the past. Like I remember thinking about some of my early childhood memories with my parents that I never would have thought of, that just sort of occurred to me while using MDMA. And just sort of like, I can't remember any specific examples, and it sounds awful to say this, but I was just sort of like forgave them, Sort of like, probably they had a lot to forgive me for too as a kid, but I forgave them basically as parents, being like, they're just people. They were probably about like my age as I am now, and they don't really know very much. Like I wouldn't know very much, So
I can totally see that. I think that if a drug helps you do that, then why wouldn't that help in healing? Because if you do that, if you're able to do that by yourself, that's going to help in healing. Everybody says, kind of close the wounds, just forgive, and it'll help get rid of the pain, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience to that, but I was on mushrooms, and I was kind of going back through the memories and forgiving people for like little tiny transgressions, and nothing life altering happened, but definitely it could help with past trauma and relationships.
I think I could attribute acid to a couple of big changes in your life when you kind of regroup and go a different route in a positive way.
I agree with that. Yeah, acid for me is more of a mental reset button than MDMA, which is more of like an empathy drug. It's like just makes me feel really connected. Whereas sometimes with acid, I'm just like, I'm gonna be off by myself for a little bit. I don't want to talk to anyone.
I've heard of acid described as like something that can reset past fears. Yeah, like fears that you established when you were a child, you kind of realize it's not really something to be scared of.
Yeah, it's a reset button for your brain.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Anyway, this is not advice. Not legal advice. Let's talk about this. Armed bikers plan to draw cartoons of Muhammad outside a mosque in Arizona. Yes.
Wow.
Good for them.
Just hours ago today, an armed biker gang, cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad, a mosque in Arizona. What could go wrong? We'll find out Friday when two organizers, John Reitzheimer and Flash Nelson, host what's being billed as a peaceful demonstration.
It's being billed that way.
What'd you say? Outside the Islamic Community Center in Phoenix. Hey, Ernie Hancock lives there. I wonder if Ernie will go.
I love the loaded syntax there. What's being billed as a peaceful demonstration? That's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, what's not peaceful about a gang of armed bikers drawing cartoons? I can't think of anything more family fun. Speaking of family fun, we've got more Flaming Freedom coming up. So stay tuned at lrn.fm or flamingfreedom.com/live, where there's a chat room, and we'll continue talking throughout this break so you can hear what's going on behind the scenes.
On lrn.fm,
Yeah, you behind the scenes listeners. Yeah, so should I ban that guy, that David guy? We don't know him. He's an unknown in the Gaynarchists group.
Oh. You could have like an audition, right?
What should be the audition qualification?
Like he has to do a Google Hangout with you, and you can check like his video and audio quality, and I don't know, talk to him for a minute.
That's so much pressure. I don't want to be the judge who decides.
Have him call me then. I'll be your screener.
Are you Red Solo cupping the show right now?
Yeah, it's water though. We just use Red Solo cups always in this place. What you got there?
That's fine with me. I was just wondering. Okay, very good. Okay, I have to prepare to buy this book with Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, so if you go to my website, if you go to joejarvis.me, there's a link right on that page.
I should do this whole thing on the show.
Yeah. All right. Let's.
I'll do that too. But there's the book. Boom. Look at it.
No. Nice.
There it is. But there's the Amazon page.
Yeah.
Cool cover.
Thanks. My friend actually designed that.
Where do I click if I want to buy it in Bitcoin?
You got to click on the one that specifically tells you to buy in Bitcoin.
Okay. So I'll have both of these up as options. Oh my God. Joe Jarvis, me.
Yeah, there you go.
And then
so it's up a little bit more.
Or buy it with Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly, right there.
And it's even cheaper.
And it's on sale, yeah.
Boom, and you can get voluntary Islam at the same time.
Exactly.
That's a great book.
Yeah. Davi's the one who shared this story about the armed bikers with me.
Oh yeah, I think I read his what he was talking about with that too. His Facebook status about it. About how was he the one who actually looked at the event page for it?
I don't know. Tell me more. You know more than I do.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So someone actually looked at the event page on Facebook for this cartoon drawing event, and there's only like 170 people RSVP'd, and most of them don't live in the area. So
wow. So the picture of this biker gang is greatly exaggerated.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be like 12 people, and like 6 of them are gonna draw stuff, and the other 6 are gonna yell at the people drawing stuff.
What are they gonna draw with? I wonder.
Are they gonna chalk?
I was, it's not a place that has snow, but I was hoping they would pee Muhammad in the snow. That would be more offensive. Because it would be like peeing on their prophet. And also making a cartoon with that pee, so you can't. It's like a double whammy.
Double offensive.
Bikers might just want the attention, though. Have you seen that South Park episode with the bikers?
The faggots?
Yeah, faggots. Yeah.
Call them, or is it just fags on the show?
I think it might be interchangeable in that sense.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think about that word? I'm not a fan.
I think it's fun to use sometimes.
Are there any words? Well, yes, right. Every word has its place, right? But like Chris Cantwell was recently kicked off of Free Talk Live for using the N-word on Twitter. Do you know about that?
So I got distracted.
I did hear about that. Yeah, Cantwell getting banned from FTL for using the N-word on Twitter.
This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Worms. Hey, I forgot to ask my co-hosts. Are you safe? Have you been contacted by the government?
Worms.
What? No.
Good. Hey, Chris Cantwell got banned from Free Talk Live for saying the N-word on Twitter. And I understand why radio shows have to do that. But I feel like that's super harsh.
Yeah. You know, they could have warned him publicly. They could have made a show of that. But getting banned instantly, they probably knew that the Cantwell game would be, if they did give him some leniency, he would stretch it to find the point of where, they finally broke, and he'd make a big, long thing out of it.
Yeah, I had him on the Freedom Fiends for the first and only time, and I was like, the only rules are to not be a dick. All right? And he broke that rule right away. The first words out of his mouth were, "I hate Michael Dean."
Wow.
Just like a jerk. On Michael Dean's radio show, while he's not there, this is what he decides to say. So, like, I get that he's going to push the limit of whatever constraints he's given.
Yeah.
And test that. So maybe Free Talk Live was doing the right thing by nipping this in the bud.
Right. I'm surprised that he was on there for that long.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't do that sooner.
Yeah. Well, he's got creative ways around his language. Should I disassociate from him as a friend? That was another question by the journalist. He was like, a lot of people have disassociated from Chris Cantwell. Like, he's been whatever from... I don't know, disqualified? What's the word? Where you're not
excommunicated?
Whatever. He's been that from the Free State Project, where they said, we don't want you anymore. We don't count you among our numbers. And,
we got to get one more to get to 20,000.
Yeah, it was even really interesting, because today at lunch there was another French reporter who was in Keene to learn about the Free State Project, and Chris Cantwell was there sitting next to her and across from a member of the Free State Project board who voted to have Cantwell booted out.
Yeah.
They were like, this is the first time we've seen each other face to face. And, they were totally cool and peaceful together. It was a real sight to see that it's like, this is as bad as it gets. in the Free State Project community, is a guy who's been completely excommunicated, and they can share, they can break bread and have a conversation with a foreign reporter about, their shared goals. That is so cool to me. It was a real trippy moment.
That definitely says something, and especially I've heard the argument a lot. Oh, well, I don't want to move to New Hampshire. They're too dramatic up there. The Free Staters, they're just filled with all this drama fest all the time. But no, not really. Like that is the worst you get, is being able to sit across the table from someone.
Being like, yeah, we vehemently disagree. Like, I think he's an asshole.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but then we move on. It's like, that's okay. But so, back to my question, he was like, but doesn't this make your ideas look bad? Like, if you're associating with this bad guy who is turning a lot of people off, aren't you afraid that's going to sort of color your image and water down your ideas?
Yeah, see, no, that goes into my argument against labels. I don't call myself a libertarian because, so do a lot of really terrible people. Free Stater for me means like you sign the statement of intent, but it doesn't really mean anything more than that. So yeah, his thing is like he sees it as it has to be, the reporter sees it as it has to be a movement. You have to be unified in some way. You have to be flying the same flag because they don't understand the non-movement of this movement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The decentralized nature.
Right. He doesn't get that it's not a collective thing. It's an individual thing.
Right. That's the same people who were mad at Coplock recently because of what Damo did. Same thing. It's decentralized. It's not just that one person who's able to reflect on everyone else.
Yeah, man. I think that's what really cool. That's what's really trippy. So no, that's what I said, was basically it's hard to be his friend because everybody hates him, but to use a label, I do call him my friend. It's just it's tough sometimes because people think he's a jerk.
Catwell is a very pleasant fellow, and all my interactions with him have been pleasant in real life. Yeah,
everyone knows him from the internet where he's a jerk to people.
Where he's an asshole, yeah, like exactly. And brands himself as such.
Not anymore. He actually borrowed from Freedom Fiend, one of your heroes. What was his name, Joe? Gray-haired
Bill Bupert.
Bill Bupert. Yeah, why am I blanking out on the beautiful Bill Bupert? Has inspired Chris Cantwell to use the phrase abolitionist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a term, right, Joe?
And that's a good one too because it like strikes up a conversation because people aren't. There's not already this label where they're like, oh, anarchists, you want to burn down buildings. It's like, oh, abolitionists, like, well, we already did that, like, so you succeeded, like, you're all set, right? And then you can kind of explain that no, like, slavery is not over.
I like that one. I might have to use that for myself. Abolitionist.
Yeah. I like that too, reminding people that prohibition isn't over, like with alcohol. Like, people, I forget if we were live on the show yet or not, but we were sort of talking about incremental changes with regard to pot and how I just want total freedom. I want pot to be like treated like tomatoes, basically, where you can have seeds and you can grow them and it doesn't matter and no one's going to ask you any questions about it. But, shoot, I totally forget where I'm going with this.
Freedom!
Yeah, freedom, I don't know.
Right, abolitionist is a term, I think, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, right. But we're not there, we're not even there with alcohol yet.
Yeah.
That was my point, was there still needs to be the abolition of prohibition with regard to alcohol. I can't buy alcohol in Philadelphia on certain days of the week or at certain times in New Hampshire.
On Memorial Day, you couldn't buy alcohol in Massachusetts. Like, that's insane. Like, they're like slapping you in the face. Like, it's Memorial Day. You pretend that you're gonna be celebrating freedom, and then they're like, "But you can't buy alcohol." But like, you're free. Hey, celebrate it. Celebrate it without alcohol, you assholes. Like,
hey, how dare they restrict your ability to get alcohol, any day of the week? it's so insulting to me. And the fact that people talk about, oh yeah, I want pot to be like alcohol, we'll tax and regulate it. I'm like, well, God damn it, when are you going to end the prohibition of alcohol? If it took 80 years to get to the point where we're at now, hey, when do you think we're going to be at total freedom for pot? Is it going to be any time in my lifetime? I don't know. I'd like to see it. I don't know any bootleggers, or what do they call the people who make beer and alcohol?
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I wish I had a brand to tell you. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to start promoting my sister and her boyfriend's brand of hard cider. It's so good. They're gonna start a business, but
Nice.
This is what I need. I need a. I hate to use the term agorist because that term has been dragged through the mud, but I need a stateless.
Like source for booze?
distiller.
Yes, source. A stateless source for alcohol.
Oh yeah. If you want some good hard cider, I can get you some.
Suds. That's what I need.
But the thing is, like, they would love to go up and sell it at Porkfest, but you can't. Even at Porkfest, you can't do that. Like what?
Yes, you can.
Well, no, you can, but like dire consequences lurk around every corner. Like you don't know.
I've heard of children doing that at Porkfest.
Well, good for them. They're gonna get a slap on the wrist. I mean,
exactly. Could you imagine if children sold the hard cider?
Are you saying I should employ a bunch of child laborers to go and sell this alcoholic beverage?
Yeah.
You should pay them under minimum wage too.
Well, they wouldn't be worth minimum wage, please.
That's such a libertarian macho flash. I'm gonna employ child labor to sell my stateless liquor at a libertarian festival. That's really cool. I hope that happens. I heard it has happened, but I'm not much of a drinker myself, so I never bought any beer from kids. They sell ice cream at Porkfest. I did a little video on that, how Porkfest employs child labor. Davi has talked about this on the Freedom Fiends, about how children are his best labor, and that he wouldn't have been able to grow his business without them. In fact, his best laborer is a child who begs him every Porkfest to be his employee. More Flaming Freedom when we return. Yeah. Oh, Davi. I want him to come to New Hampshire.
Yeah. Yeah. I've talked to him about that, of course.
It's hard to move from a big city. It's still cool in big cities. That's why everyone's there. More people are in big cities than in the rest of the country now.
Mm-hmm.
So, what the fuck, New Hampshire?
Trying to make it a big city. I feel like if you get like one small community, like, do you need it to be a big city? Wouldn't 2,000 people under the right circumstances feel the same as a big city?
No.
No.
Big cities breathe.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They've got a pulse. They're alive. You know, they're an entity of their own. Sort of like the Earth is alive, like they're a microcosm.
Yeah.
We're all microcosms. But yeah, I like the city. I visit it. That's what I got to do. But New Hampshire will. I don't know. Hopefully one day in my lifetime we'll have like 1 million people in one city. I would like to see that.
I'm telling you, like a nice city-state. I'm envisioning this place where you just start with, like, you know, growing things, and you get the community there, and you start by teaching people. It's almost like a college. You know, you can bring people there, teach them how to garden. They're working for you. Like, that's how they, like, pay it off. And you create your own little, like, economy with it, you know. And at the same time, you're you're teaching everybody that you bring there. So you're creating valuable employees, no matter what they end up doing in the community.
There's so many people who leave New Hampshire, though, after they come here.
It's cold. It's cold up there.
It is cold. I hate that.
I like the cold more than the heat.
I like them both, but I don't really want to be one or the other. I like to have a moderate temperature. That's what flaggots say. It's a living thing with a pulse. Who is this Rob in the chat room? Is that Rob, Voluntarious Rebel?
Oh, I don't think so.
Is it Wentz?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, Rob doesn't use them any emojis.
Why not? Emojis are cool. I'm all about the emoji now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use them in every text. And then some people text me back like, I don't get those messages.
I think it definitely helps when you're being sarcastic to use emojis, which I often am.
You're better at that sort of thing than I am. I don't play in that realm. I don't do sarcasm over text.
It's tough. It's tough, I'll tell you.
Or very much at all. Yeah, because it's so hard. How are you going to communicate that?
Yeah, like, oh man. Like my April Fool's joke that I did this last April Fool's, which was, I'm moving back to California, and it was like a Facebook status.
That's great.
If you keep reading it, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go work with my aunt and uncle on a moisture farm. Also, I'm Luke
On a
Skywalker.
moisture farm?
Yeah, yeah. And then I
What?
come out as Luke Skywalker. I'm like, I'm Luke Skywalker. And like people read that and were like, I can't believe you're moving. Like they didn't get it. Like it was, yeah. People are lazy when it comes to reading, I tell you.
That's really funny. Yeah, there was some thing I was reading. This is so awful because like it was basically about how headlines shape news because people don't read the articles. And the fact is, I didn't read that article. All I know is the headline. So
That was actually just an experiment.
it might have been.
Right, yeah. What if you clicked on it and it took you to like a gotcha, like some sort of.
Yeah, I don't know, but it seems true, and it also empirically worked with me.
You know what I heard was that people in a room, if you're talking about something, they believe the person that claims to have read the most recent article on something.
What? Who? They claim to have read the most recent article about
So-
whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, if you're talking about a subject and you're in a group, whoever's like, well, I read this, like people are gonna believe you more if you said it, you read something than if you just like say whatever. I guess that makes sense.
That's true. Yeah, because you're citing your source. You're like,
Yeah.
you're not
But
just.
without even citing the source, you're just like, I read it somewhere. But they're still like, well, that's a source.
He said he read it. It was on paper.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to get things on paper, or on a computer screen.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Actually, it is hard to get. I mean, that's pretty cool that you got something on paper. I
I'm
was
pretty
like,
excited. It's
on a
fun.
computer screen, but that is cool.
Yeah.
So, Sean2046 is asking in the chat room, hey everyone, how many gays are a part of the Free State Project, give or take? We should answer that when we come back. Also, he says, are there plenty of guys on Grindr? LOL. Should answer that.
Oh, can we like give out our like Instagrams and stuff? Everybody should follow me on Instagram. I like Instagram. Do you guys like Instagram?
Love Instagram.
I don't do it.
It's Joe Jarvis Me. Follow me at Joe Jarvis Me. Everybody. It's like I like it more than Twitter. I mean,
And I'm Statheism. I should change my name. But I liked Statheism back when I thought that word meant an atheist to the state. Not
you don't believe in a state.
right, not an atheist who is also a statist. Also sort of what that word means. And I think that camp won. That camp won the word.
Why would you? I don't see anybody using statist as like a like wanting to be called that. Like somebody thought I used that as an insult once, and I was just like, well, it's a word. You're a statist. If you think that's an insult, then change your views.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, that's what you could say about fag. It's like, well, I am a fag, so I'm not offended by that. If you're calling me one, you're right. It's like one of the reasons. But it's the same thing with the statist. It's like, well, you shouldn't be upset by it. It is sort of still a mean word. It depends. So, like, my dad was a vice principal, and he used to have to, like, quote-unquote discipline students who got sent to his office, and he told me he would explain it like this to the kids who were like, well, yeah, I only said his name, but it's like, it's not what you say. It's how you say something. It's like what you mean. Like, what you communicate is more than just the words you say. That's basically what I'm saying.
English is terrible.
Are you an LRN newbie? You know you can change your name.
No, I know. I was just trying to look at it. I didn't want to add anything. I just was looking. Like Michael Jackson with popcorn, you know.
You creeper. You're creeping up in the chat. I'm gonna expose you.
Dude, I know. It's just I can't do two things at once. I already tried to like look at the chat room and talk, and I was like, duh. I can't remember what I was saying.
We're back. Hey, everybody. The Gaynarchists out there listening, and the curious few who, I don't know why the hell you're listening to this program, but welcome back to Flaming Freedom. We're going to buy Joe Jarvis's book right now, not at fpp.cc, which is also a terrific site where it was published, but at joejarvis.me. And we're back for the second hour. The co-hosts tonight are...
Oh, did you forget our names?
I'm tossing it to you.
Oh, sorry. It's Joe Jarvis. I feel weird saying my own name.
That's what you have to do.
Oh.
Okay,
this is Joe Jarvis.
Turn.
He's Joe Jarvis, and I'm Shire Dude.
Good job. We're going to buy this book. You apparently can buy it with Bitcoin, which is pretty sweet. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this like right on the screen live is because you can do it along with me if you are watching. So you go to his website, joejarvis.me. Right up there on the front page, it's got an option to buy the book either on Amazon or on with Bitcoin on fpp.cc. I'm going to choose that option.
Yeah, look at that. It's only a $8.33. What a steal.
That's true. And if you click on the other link, you'll see it's a little more expensive if you use the King's Federal Reserve notes.
Yeah.
The King's cash costs more. At $10.47 for paperback at Amazon, which is also pretty sweet.
Not bad. If you're going to Porkfest, just buy it from me. I mean, you can wait a few weeks, but if you're not going, you definitely want to follow the instructions on your screen.
Wow, and you save 30% on orders of 10 or more, so pretty sweet. You've got even more discounts. So here I am at the screen, adding to cart. Let's see what happens. All right, I get to view my cart. And I've never done this before with fpp.cc, but I imagine using Bitcoin will be pretty easy since Daryl sets up everyone in the Keene area with their own Bitcoin wallets and pages. So there's all this billing information. Do I actually have to fill this out with anything real? I'm going to, well, I guess if you're gonna send it to me, I have to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be able to answer any of these questions, unfortunately.
No, I guess Daryl will know.
Yeah.
All right, but I filled out some pretty quick info. Said I'm paying in Bitcoin.
State is required.
The state is required. That should not be a surprise.
It's irony.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Daryl. That's kind of glitch. And
Oh man.
how long did it take you to write this book? You were talking.
So it was over a year process, which I think for writing a book, I think that's a good time. Even if like technically you could like hunker down and write a book in a few weeks, but I don't think you need your moods and you need your like days to go past a bunch of different. You're not always the same, you know. You got to come back and edit it when you're in a certain mood. You got to do a lot of that and make sure it doesn't sound like. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you have those days where you're just like kind of infected with some sort of mood, but if you tried to like write for that day, it would sound like a little weird?
Yeah, you know, that's why you need an editor.
Well, yeah, but that's why you also need to let time pass. You come back to it a bunch of times, so you make sure it's not just like a sort of spur of the moment, like it's out and you release it. there's a time for that, blog posts and stuff like that. But
yeah, but a book is something that you want to be in the same frame of mind every time when you're writing it, or at least you'll be able to go back and edit for that.
yeah, exactly. Smooth it over.
Yeah, that's gotta be interesting. Try to get into that headspace every time you're writing. Do you have like a regimen that you do before writing, or?
Well, I mean, I don't write when I'm not feeling it. That's one thing I don't try to like force myself to do it. So a lot of times I end up thinking about stuff in the woods, like if I'm running or if I'm hiking, and I come back and whenever my mind wandered to, I try to like work that in, because I'm usually it usually just sort of like infects my mood, and I'll daydream anyway. So I kind of feed off of that daydream, and I'll kind of put that in. So it helps me working on multiple things at once, because then if you're in a certain mood, you can go and work on that instead of having to, force yourself into working on one single project.
Yeah, I hear you. Definitely. I've had like maybe like 3 or 4 projects throughout today, and I keep, you keep switching between the one that you feel like doing in the moment. Yeah.
Speaking of the moment, I want to swing back to this and show how easy it was to check out using Bitcoin. So I just sent payment, and I want to see like real time how long it takes. Oh, look, it already got it. So and then it says return to FPP, and it's done. So
how much Bitcoin was that? 0.039 or something of a Bitcoin?
I forgot. Let me check.
No. It was a little amount. That's pretty cool. So in the book, they the currency is backed by like Amazon, like, well, not in the book, but like Amazon would issue their currency, and it would be backed by the products on their page. So in the book, that's the idea, where there's businesses that issue a currency and there's banks that buy them up. But
wow, that's a pretty cool way to envision the future, and scary. It was 35 millibits, by the way. I just checked.
Yeah. So a bank would buy up like currencies like Bitcoin or like stocks, and it would almost be like a mutual fund where they would issue it and it would be more stable. But you could choose. You could
good banks like banks that are actually producing value. Did you hear about this bank? Well, I guess it's not. I don't know if it's. I don't want to call it a bank. I might get them in trouble. But have you heard about WageCan?
No.
They're this.
Yeah, that's the one that Ian's been using, right?
Yeah, and John Bush, and you can load up this credit card that you can use anywhere that I think MasterCard is accepted internationally, and load it with Bitcoins and spend it as cash.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the reason I thought of bank is because they have some other account where you can store some money aside, some Bitcoin, that actually generates interest. Like some savings accounts in classic banks.
Yeah, I heard of that too.
That used to happen, like when banks were healthy, way before our time. Apparently people, the banks would do good investments and with the people's money that was entrusted to them. And then they would give those people more money in return. It seems like that's sort of what's happening. So
that's great. So it's like you're offsetting the government. This is a better net option. It's now a better option to have Bitcoin than to have cash.
For some people, in some circumstances, this is not. It's not a paid advertisement or anything. It's not something that I even use at this time. But
honestly, I don't even have any Bitcoin. But it's just like cool to see something emerging that's giving people an option other than using the typical thing.
Do you want some?
I do, and I'm sure I'm gonna have some soon. I need to like take the step and like invest a couple hours in choosing a wallet and such.
Tell Daryl that you want some of your payments in Bitcoin, because I just bought your book in Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, he actually prefers to pay in Bitcoin too, so we'll probably be doing that.
Someone's making fun of. Sorry. Someone in the chat room making fun of my necklace, saying Derek is trying to attack or maybe attract BBC with that gold necklace. I think that's what he's saying. That's really funny. I did choose to wear this big fake gold necklace tonight, because I found this in my grandmother's jewelry, and I was like, she's never gonna wear this anymore. I could just take this. She's sort of out there and senile and whatever. So I don't know. What do you think about it? It's sort of classic. Give me some compliments on my gold necklace. It's not real gold. It's just costume jewelry.
Oh, really? It makes you look like I don't know. It reminds me of home. You know, streets of Compton.
Is that Wisconsin your home?
No, I lived on Compton Boulevard for a while, but no, near there though.
Aren't you from LA?
Yeah, back and forth between LA and OC, so that's where Compton is.
That's one of the weird things. So the reporter also asked, like, isn't it strange moving from a big city to what is a rural area in New Hampshire? And has that been sort of a culture shock for you?
Yeah. Oh, it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's.
Are you a political activist
that break got me. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to answer this succinctly.
Wow, not a word. You couldn't think it. Maybe she loved BBC. Oh my God, this guy's awesome. Whoever Newbie 333 is my new favorite troll. I'm sorry, I can't ignore the chat room sometimes during the show, and it's so distracting. Like, I should have ignored it in that circumstance. It's not the right thing to do.
It sucks me in, yeah.
But I was just like, what? What are you guys saying? What are you talking about? That's funny.
Right. I mean, you know, especially with it right here, like right in front of me.
With what right there?
The chat room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay when they're on the screen. I should just ask you, instead of talking about what the chat room is doing, I should ask Shire Dude to bring them up on the screen.
There you go. Yeah.
Yo, have a hit of this.
Oh, thanks.
Porkfest.
I don't. Oh yeah, that's the one you bought. I remember that.
It's got a little Porkfest porcupine on him.
That was the first Porkfest purchase that I got to witness. It was like day one. We just arrived, right? Day one or day two? Yeah, and it was yeah. Good times, good times. I'm actually not going to show up for Porkfest this year until Tuesday. Just save a little bit of money, you know.
So we forgot to answer the guy's question. Yeah, maybe I'm just a baller. Okay, maybe that's why I've got a big chain. I don't even think it would attract. If anything, it would repel all normal people. That's what it would do. Like that guy, he plays basketball or something for the Navy. Yeah. So we got to talk about how many gay guys. Just not many. Like
there have been a lot of gay guys hanging around the Quill lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like someone is like bringing them in lately.
Is Andre bringing them in? Did he?
No, not Andre.
A slave trade? Did Andre move?
No, he's still around. I just saw him actually. I just saw him yesterday.
Good.
When are you gonna come over to Manchester, Derek?
I don't know. Not soon enough.
I've
actually I just quit my job, so now's a really good time.
Wow. Yeah, definitely.
You know where I'm applying? Starbucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey,
places, but I want
to. As a reference.
Cool. Really? That would be helpful.
Yeah. I've been with the company for over 7 years, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost at free coffee for lifetime.
Straight up. Although the 10-year mark is only if you're of retirement age. A lot of people don't know that.
Boo.
Yeah.
So they gotta limit their coffee supply. Lifetime means if you're about to kick it.
Pretty much.
Okay. Great. I won't count on that because I'm gonna live forever.
Right. I wonder if they'll honor that. If people start living forever, if Starbucks will keep honoring that.
It's a contract. They have to honor it.
Like, no way out of that.
Oh, damn. This guy Sean says he's in Austin, and he said there's no libertarian gays there.
While our
None?
I know, that's what I was like. I was going to move to Austin when I heard no gays here. I was like, well, Austin's one of the most gay-friendly cities there is. Boo, boo, doo, doo, doo. Hey, Flaming Freedom, we're not going to have this music for much longer, so, let's revel in this. It's gonna go far away forever. Anyway, Sean in the chat room wants to know, how many gays live in New Hampshire? How many gays are part of the FSP? Are there lots of people on Grindr? And he says he's in Austin, and there's pretty much no libertarian gays there. And damn, I can relate. I know what you're saying. When I was in Philly, it felt like there's just no way you're gonna find anyone who's the same. And then, it doesn't matter. But I don't want to be convincing everyone. I don't want to be like finding my partner and then have to explain through Liberty 101 to now with them. I feel like it would be insulting to their intelligence.
My favorite people are the ones that like don't even care. They're like, yeah, like none to politics.
Good, great, because you move on with life. Like that's what you do after you get through that trap of politics. So anyway, yeah, in the FSP. I don't know, not much different. Everyone's an anarchist. That I really like, but not many gays, not in my experience. And I've been here 4 years. So, but I've been in Keene. Shire Dude says there are gays in Manchester.
Yeah, I've been seeing more of them come around the Quill during like our parties, and I think it's definitely an uptick since I got here last year.
There are gays, don't get me wrong. So to your question, are there gays on Grindr? Yes, there are gays everywhere on Grindr. So but are they within the FSP? These ones are apparently the ones Shire Dude's talking about, right?
I don't really get to talking to a lot of them because I'm very shy.
Stay away from the gays.
Yeah, well, I'd stay away from most people. Just sit in the corner and listen to conversations instead of.
Were you like filming them like a voyeur?
No, I'm actually very careful about filming in the Quill, because it is a private club.
Oh, okay.
And I know some people go there to get away from the cameras, and
CAC is a private club too, but it's default filming friendly.
Yeah.
The default is you're going to be filmed unless you say that you don't want to be.
Right. Yeah. I don't think
going.
Like I just wouldn't do it. Normally on a normal night there, because I go there to decompress too. I don't go there to film stuff, and yeah. But it's not like a rule. It's not like a written rule or anything like that.
So I don't know. Have we answered Sean's question thoroughly? The answer is going to be no. There's no love out there. That's my conclusion. I'll be the young pessimist for the world until my views see different. No, I don't think so.
Gay or straight, once you take the red pill, you're greatly diminishing the amount of partners that you will enjoy. Just like movies. The second you take the red pill, go down the rabbit hole, or whatever you want to say, you start realizing that there's this terrible like statism in movies, in most movies.
Yeah,
like the military solves everything, and it's like it ruins so many movies for me. Same thing with partners. Same thing.
That happened with me in TV shows. When I see so many TV shows, it's the same thing. The plot lines are so statist, or they rely on the police, or it's so unrealistic. And I know sitcoms and whatever, they're all unrealistic. But in that sense, it really bothers me.
The propaganda, yeah.
Accidental propaganda through, like, I guess because of government schools, people are so infiltrated with these ideas that the state is your savior that they unwittingly propagate them in their own materials. It's sad. It's sickening. I hate it.
Yeah.
So once you take that red pill, yeah, it might be a little more difficult. Like I wrote out a letter to John and Kat Bleish today. They're this power team, this power couple of anarchists who have their own reality TV show. They co-own a bookstore. They
were like touring in the Bitcoin bus.
Yeah, they've done their own radio content, news updates called the Liberty Beat. They were covering the Ross Ulbricht trial almost exclusively, better than any news.
Where are they? Where's their stuff?
They're based in Austin, but they're all over the internet. Their names are John Bush and Catherine Bleich. They call themselves the Blush family. And they have 2 beautiful children who they are, unschooling, homeschooling, whatever you want to call it. And they're just some of the coolest people I know of on the planet. They are straight-up anarchists who are living free, trying to be self-sufficient and personally responsible and set a good example for others to follow. And, how rare is that? It's 1 in a bajillion. So, good for them. I applaud them. They are a wonderful model for the rest of us. But I don't know. How many power couples like that do you see or know of? I don't see that many. Maybe they're out there. Am I missing them, guys?
Oh man. Yeah. Even in Hollywood, how many power couples do you see? What, Brad Jelena? That's it, right? It's the same. It's the same principle. It's like
that's a great point.
Two people in any community who are doing exactly the same kind of star stuff. You're not going to find that in any subset of people.
Yeah. How many celebrities date
other superstars? Yeah.
In their work environment, their community of acting or whatever. And you don't think they're really passionate about acting and film or whatever industry they're in? I'm passionate about liberty, or all of us are passionate about whatever we care about. Yeah, so finding that person with that one qualification, Sean from Austin, might be, I don't know, is it worth it?
Well, it's even tougher. You said that you're limiting yourself when you move to the into that realm where you're not going to date anybody that doesn't have that same sort of anarchist mindset. But it's we're already so limited, if you're gay, you're already so limited that it almost feels impossible. you cut 10% down to even less than that,
Yeah. Stefan Molyneux sort of makes videos where he suggests that guys should better direct the evolution of humanity, for lack of a better term, by being more choosy about the girls that they sleep with, about the women that they partner down with, and not rewarding bad behavior, from these women, which is so often the case with the people who end up having children. So I'm wondering if gays would, if he would advocate that they would follow the same example by punishing the statist gays by not having sex with them or not partnering up with them.
Of course, it's not going to have the same long-term effects for the gay community that it would have for, with the whole children thing.
Right. So I guess it wouldn't be, there would be no evolutionary point to it. So we can reward the statists if it's worth it to us. If we choose to, which I probably, I don't know. I hope not. I don't want to. Have you had to do any convincing in your relationships?
It's gonna come up. It's gonna come up if you're interested in it. I actually, you know what? You know what? One of the most divisive ones was recently was the circumcision thing.
That's a total freedom issue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Own your body from day one. That's another one within the freedom community that hasn't really been settled yet and was talked about last year. Abortion.
Yeah.
Where do freedom lovers stand on that? And circumcision.
Free Talk Live.
Crack cocaine, the way it hurts individuals and communities, I would really like to see dealers get the death penalty.
Why are you so violent?
It's a violent drug. It gets to your brain. It reorganizes. It actually physically changes the structure of your brain.
Yeah, that's true with alcohol. The community is being put in danger by the fact that these drugs are illegal. I don't use crystal meth. I'm in danger from those who use crystal meth, in that if they need another hit and they can't afford it, and their drug dealer's not willing to accept a PJ in order to give them a hit of crystal meth, then they are going to go and steal things, break into cars, break into homes. If you can't see how prohibition creates more problems than it solves, if you can't see how prohibition leads to
Should be burning freedom instead of flaming freedom.
of alcohol. It's simple.
7 nights a week from 7 to
LRN newbie 333. No, I proudly have never had sex with a woman. With a woman, which it's not women. If you're talking about a single one.
Wait. So you've had sex with multiple women, but not one woman?
No, I'm telling him that he used women.
Oh, it's a grammar issue. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, hold on.
I got my baby circumcised after his abortion.
Aww.
Oh, that's horrible. Wow. Oh, okay. Someone says proudly. Why proudly? Because I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's a mark of pride. I don't know. It shouldn't be. Ignorance shouldn't be a mark of pride, but it is sort of. It's something like. I don't know. Like, I knew I wanted. I don't know. The ice cream analogy I was going to use wasn't going to work, so I shouldn't even go there. I tried. I was going to have sex with a woman. I had a girlfriend sophomore year, and we had it planned and everything. She came home with me. She took my bus home, which also was like, ooh, what are we doing? And like, how kiddie is that we had to take the bus home? We weren't driving or anything. So, but clothes were coming off, and like, we just like both before anything even happened. I didn't even kiss her. We just knew. We were like, nope. Let's just stop. This is not gonna happen.
Both girls I had sex with made comments about how I had to be harder to continue having sex with them.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, that's probably because I'm gay. But.
Yeah, you're like, damn. Wow.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. Well, then also, there's just no point in ever going back for me, because I'm like, once I had sex with a guy, I was like, oh, click. Like, I see how, like, what this is. I was all afraid of this, but it comes perfectly naturally, so it's not something to be afraid of. So, no, there's your answer, Sean. No sex with women, no thank you. Not right now. Maybe when I'm old.
0403.
I don't know. Think people change.
Love Twitter. Make sure you
it's chat room.
FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Welcome back to Flaming Freedom. You can ask any question you want in the chat room at flamingfreedom.com/live. So lively and fun, you perverts. So, I forget even what we were talking about. Can we get to your article, Joe? Did we talk about your
I think we mentioned it. I don't think we really delved in.
Yeah, we haven't at all. What was the point? You blogged something today.
Yeah, so that was the it was just about how everybody keeps talking about the military, and every time they mention it, they say that, thanks for protecting our freedom. But the problem is they're not protecting our freedom. It can be really damaging when people keep repeating that. Right?
Yeah, it's damaging for one, because it's like a false praise. It's not genuine. It's just something that they're repeating, like "God bless you" after someone sneezes. Like, oh, I see someone in a uniform. Thank you for your service. Like, thanks for protecting our freedom. I'm supposed to feel emotional. It's like a Pavlovian response.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny too, because part of it was that I noticed a lot of these. It's the Constitution people who still, and I used to be one of them. So I'm not really like trying to knock anybody, but you try to move on. And if you believe in the Constitution so much, it's like the Founding Fathers warned against a standing army, and they warned against a big military. And these are the same people that like, oh, big government, big government, big government. But then when it comes to the military and the police, for some reason there's no problem with the big government, and it's just so it's like, where's the disconnect there? Like, they're the ones who's gonna enforce this this Nazi stuff. Like, do they forget who enforces it all?
Yeah, because it's all in your imagination. The state exists so much in your mind that it's like totally individual to each person. It's one of the things that I feel like the state has in common with religion. Like, there's this one doctrine that everyone's supposed to go on, right? The Constitution. Or there's this one doctrine, the Bible, that everyone's supposed to go on. But then everyone picks it apart and makes it their own and uses their imagination and says, oh, well, God meant this and not this. And, oh, well, the founders meant this and not this. And they just pick and choose and make it their own. Like, these things are just ideas that exist in our minds. They're so not concrete or real, like the laws of gravity.
Right. Yeah. Whatever blanket terms that you could try to come up with that summarize how things should be, or even how things are. There's going to be someone who disagrees with you on one of those terms. Yeah. Like, that's that feeds into the whole no labels argument. It's no matter what kind of word you're going to come up with, there's going to be someone who disagrees. Right.
Yeah, but that doesn't make labels unhelpful. There are always going to be exceptions to everything. If you said a horse is an animal with 4 legs and 1 head, you could say, yeah, but sometimes there are horses that are born with 2 heads, and does that mean it's not really a horse? It's like, no,
right.
It's a helpful label that we use.
Helpful in sales, but not in any kind of real understanding, like depth. That's what I think.
Like, are you talking about certain labels, like self-describing labels?
Yeah. I'm not talking about like nouns. Like, obviously I can say, oh, that's a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, self-describing labels as well. Like, like your religion or your belief in the state.
Well, could I say that you're genuine, or could I? That's a self-describing. Well, that's an adjective.
Yeah.
So I can give you adjectives.
Sure. Yeah. And you're gonna find just as many people who agree with you as who don't.
But you're not a porcupine.
Porcupine. Yeah. I mean, you can call me a porcupine because that's like a factual, like, oh yeah, someone who moved to New Hampshire.
You've given up the whole no labels argument. You'll take labels whenever they suit you.
But yeah. It's
I've heard you have this fight with Rob on Rebel Love Show.
Oh,
no labels.
We have this all the time. Yeah.
Is he here right now?
He's off in his room. But yeah, the argument that I give is if I call myself an anarchist, the next day an anarchist, a so-called anarchist, is going to throw a brick through a window, and it's going to ruin what people think about me when I say I'm an anarchist.
Why do you say that?
That's a good point, though, because a lot of right now, if you think about it, the police are getting blamed for a lot of things. So it's like, clearly, if they could go by another label, they would too. But to that same extent, like, you choose to join it or not. So I can see not wanting to accept the label if you're like not choosing to join the group, because when you become a police officer, it's like a very clear thing, like you're doing it for money. But like calling yourself an anarchist, it can be your philosophy, but then you have to choose to label yourself. I don't know where I'm going.
What's the good label? I hear where you're going with that. It's about like self-identifying with the others. The people who hear the word anarchy and say, instead of like, oh, my own. Like I would wonder when I hear someone say anarchist. Like Rothbardian or you ANCOM.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's the description that gives you the good response. Oh, those are my people. It's really the descriptions that count. And so a better way to put it, I think it's really a syntactical problem, is instead of calling me an anarchist, to be like, oh, well, he prefers anarchy, prefers a voluntary exchange. Actually, like, diving in at least a little bit, at least under the surface, and saying what I actually am, what I actually believe.
Yeah, I like that your thing of no labels sort of forces someone to be more descriptive about you.
Yeah.
And instead of me saying he's an anarchist, I would have to say Shire dude prefers voluntary relationships.
Yeah.
And
It's like an Ent from Lord of the Rings.
Anything worth saying, yeah, is worth taking a long time to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I'm out of the no.
It's like a tree-like creature, but it actually can walk around and such. But it's very old. It's older than probably even Gandalf.
Yeah, and their language requires like a lot of conversation, a lot more than normal people talk.
Like his name would just probably take hours to say. But he's like, but for the sake of you little hobbits and probably the readers, his name was just Treebeard.
Wow, that's funny. That like, wow, J.R.R. Tolkien. What was his time? Was he in the 20s?
No, I think it was later. It was a little bit later. It was like the 40s, I think, 50s. But I see tons of anarchists. Or well, I mean, you got to talk. Like that's a label, but you got to express yourself. So I see a lot of like anarchist messages in his.
Well, what's another way you would put that instead of saying anarchist? What kind of messages are they?
Yeah, just anarchistic messages, you know.
No, but I want to know what they are, because that's another label. That's a.
They're messages that pertain to throwing off this authority that has no right over you, and taking control over your own life without having a authority for the sake of authority. I'm doing bad jobs. I don't know.
I like that. I get it. There is no That's sort of, it seems like what people do is have authority for the sake of authority. I've noticed sort of regretfully that humans are animals sort of like dogs, not like cats, in that we're sort of like pack animals. At least I've observed this about myself. You can tell me if it doesn't ring true for you too, but I see a lot of humans wanting to see who's the leader, where do I stand in the hierarchy of things, and let me not escape that. Let me stay within the comfort zone of the paradigm that's been presented to me. Like, isn't that what most people want? Instead of, whereas cats are like, I'm on the top, and everything else that everyone else is doing is done to serve me. Though they're a little more. Well,
it's like let's see what I can attain versus let's just like do the easy kind of route, the safe route versus the.
Well, they're independent. The cats are the anarchists, and the dogs are the collectivist pack animals. And what I'm saying is, I think humans are more the pack animals. I'd like to be more like the independent cats.
I agree.
Free of the leash.
They say curiosity killed the cat, though. That's the problem,
Very true. Wow. Thank you guys for joining me. We've got one last segment left.
Woo.
Gone by very quickly for me, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's fun being on a show and not having to do my own camera work.
Yeah, there's not much you have to do.
Yeah.
I prepare show prep and we never get to it. That's really how it works. It's like there's always so much to talk about anyway. And in the final act, we usually recap and leave the listener feeling good about going forward, about what they just heard. I have a tendency to be a little negative, so I try and make a point to be very positive at the end. And they're probably falling asleep, it's like midnight. It might be in bed. We'll leave them with a calm hamster in their brain.
Good call.
What do you guys do right before bed? Do you listen to some hypnotherapy? Do you put on some isochronic tones, some ASMR?
Yeah. Hypnotherapy? Do you do that?
Oh my gosh. If I'm ever having trouble sleeping, I listen to Verbal Surgery, the guy who used to advertise on Free Talk Live.
No way.
He has great sleep episodes, and I actually got him from Free Talk Live, so this is fantastic.
Does it help you lucid dream? Does he have any of those?
He doesn't have any of those. He has them to put you to sleep, and then there's if you look up on YouTube isochronic tones lucid dream. That's the video that I watch like every night. It's got this like blue visualization on it. Of course, I turn the screen off, but I just like have that on like a low volume setting, and it actually does help you lucid dream, or at least it has me.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Wow. Is it waves?
It's just like sound waves, and it's supposed to encourage that. I think it's supposed to it actually disrupts your sleep a little bit, but just the right amount to where you jump into a different level of REM sleep. I don't know if it's totally bogus science and it's all in my head or not.
Hey, even if it is all in your head, sometimes the placebo is all you need to make it work, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like hypnotism, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. It's all you doing it to yourself.
Wow, that is trippy, man. Someone in the chat says they lucid dream. Rob.
I tend to have a lot of double dreams too when I'm lucid dreaming, so I'll wake up into another dream, which is crazy. That doesn't happen often though.
That's like Inception. So.
Right.
I've had a couple where I just started to lucid dream and I just realized I was in the dream, and every time I immediately try to start to fly because it's so much fun. So every time I start lucid dreaming, I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna try to take flight. Let's get a good flying session here.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that ends up making me wake up, and I can barely do it. I've only done it a couple times.
Yeah, sometimes
Any
I can't
tips?
fly. I hate that. Where it's like, I know I'm dreaming. I should be able to fly. Why can't I fly? I should have that superpower. I should have all the superpowers.
It's my own mind.
We're coming back in 10.
amp.freetalklive.com and getting perks. That's amp.freetalklive.com.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
You know how to know if you're lucid dreaming? Is look in a mirror. Mirrors don't seem to work right in dreams. They run a little bit slower, in my experience, than your actual dream figure. Digital watches and any digital clocks on your stovetop or at school, a clock, calculator, digital screens tend to be muffled, jumbled characters, and or the numbers change over time if you blink and look away. And another is light switches don't work in dreams. It's a dead giveaway. If a light switch doesn't work, if you flick it off and the light doesn't turn off, you are probably dreaming. So give it a test every once in a while in any room that you're in. Try and turn the lights on and off.
That's really interesting. I wonder why that is.
I've speculated that it's because being able to control light is a relatively new phenomenon in the living creature experience. You know, like, as humans, I think we're the only ones, besides, what are those summertime bugs? Lightning bugs?
Yeah.
That can, like, illuminate. You know, like, we can turn on lights at night, and even that's relatively new. We can make it daytime. You know, like the caveman couldn't make it daytime. So I think our dream tech hasn't really caught up. Like, really small text will also be extremely difficult to read and can change. So these are just a few clues that I've found that help you realize if you're dreaming. You said you've done some lucid dreaming, Joe? Is that something that you've like practiced or work on, or is it just something happens randomly?
I've wanted to, but like I've only a couple times been able to able to realize that I was in the dream. So at that point, I consider that a lucid dream, but it's only lasted so long, and each time I decide to try to fly. You know, that's the thing you got to do in dreams. It's fun.
That's the difficult part is trying to change your behavior once you realize you're dreaming instead of just kind of going along with the dream. So most of the time when I have lucid dreams, I'll just kind of keep doing whatever it is I was doing, you know, and I'll just be aware of it. Like, oh yeah, I'm definitely dreaming right now.
Even being aware of it feels different. I
Mhm.
don't feel like I act the same. I definitely don't act the same in a dream that I would act. I'm aware of it, but there's still like it's like a drug on your mind almost. I don't know.
Sean in the chat recommends keeping a dream journal, and I would second that.
Definitely, yeah. When you wake up, all those any dream that you have is gonna like just kind of like fall through your fingers, like it just kind of slips away, and your day kind of comes back to you.
I remember, so one of my first experiences with lucid dreaming, I was doing a research paper for a school class, and I chose the topic of lucid dreaming and the astral plane and this, like, I don't know, ethereal connection of communication between infant twins and stuff, and mothers and children, and how they sort of like send out alert signals, and mothers somehow always know when their child is in imminent danger. It's really weird how they have that sort of superpower, that intuition.
Right, or like twins knowing when the other twin is like being hurt or something. I've heard of that too.
Yeah, precisely. So, I think this is all sort of connected to brain waves, like the waves at which we're vibrating, our thoughts. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know if there's any this, but it's just sort of what I think. And I experimented with lucid dreaming. Keeping a dream journal helped. Using the tips that I found helped. I was being attacked by Mars Attacks aliens. They were in my backyard and in my neighbor's backyard, and it was not looking good. I was definitely surrounded and going to be shot by one of their vaporizer laser guns. When I realized, oh my God, I'm dreaming. And it was because I had looked at my watch, which I hadn't worn since like 4th grade. But there it was, the same watch that I had back when I was a kid, and it was all jumbled letters. So I thought, okay, I should be able to, fly away, just like Joe said. I couldn't fly, but I could do other things. Like I made this laser remote control thing extra huge. Like I made it really big enough to hit the button and explode all of the aliens. So like at least I was able to fend off the aliens in that dream, but I wasn't able to do everything that I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want like ultimate power. You want to have like all the power.
Yeah. Have you ever gone Super Saiyan in a dream?
Not completely, no. I barely have any control. Even when I try to fly, sometimes I'm like, like hovering right over the ground, I think Nicole in the chat room is saying that she had a dream about you, Derek.
Ooh.
Why wouldn't you try lucid dreaming like every night? If really, like, all you have to do is, like, I put on the isochronic tones from YouTube to try to lucid dream. I try to get myself in that mode. Just try to get yourself in that mode. You spend, what is it, like a third of your life in sleep? Might as well have fun with it.
And it's this super world where you can do almost anything you want if you train your brain to have that ability, right? So what I think it could be is this real life enhancer. By if you want to do something in the real world that seems impossible to achieve, what you should do, or what you could do, is practice lucid dreaming, have the dream of you achieving this thing, and then that will increase the likelihood of it happening in real life because you'll have like done it before. The dream reality you can achieve this over and over again every night until
and actually
real life.
I think there's actual like science behind that. If you actually like picture, imagine yourself doing things, they say you're actually more likely to achieve it.
Yeah, I saw a real life easy example that anyone could do, which is standing up and twisting and seeing how far. Like put both of your arms out and look on the ground for some kind of marker and twist as far as you can, and go back and look at some marker, set that marker with like a pen or a penny or whatever you've got around, and then go back to position that you started from, close your eyes, picture yourself going all the way around, like your body twists and does a total 360, and then turn and set the marker with your eyes closed. See what the difference is between the mark where you have your eyes open and then after you use your imagination to go all the way around. I've seen this experiment done. I've done it myself, and I don't think it's just that you're getting an extra stretch the first time. Like, there is a big noticeable difference.
Yeah.
People's ability to achieve this very simple task.
I've done it before, and like you go farther the first time, and then you go farther again the second time you do it. Sometimes it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And a real life example of dreams in motion. So I guess we gotta just dream up freedom. We gotta dream our paths to total freedom, because that's what I was asked. Like, what do you want? You know, what do you want from this reporter guy? He's expecting an answer like, I want legalized weed, or I want no taxes, or I want no president anymore, but I want freedom, like I want total freedom. I want it all.
Right. It's kind of like what we were visualizing earlier, walking down like the sidewalk, and all of the front yards have like food growing in them, and like there's food all around. We were kind of visualizing that earlier. I think that's what I'll try to visualize before bed tonight. Is just like this like bountiful, like there's food everywhere.
Land of plenty. Just
right.
Because everything's so free that why wouldn't there be just so much?
I really like that. And there's candy stores.
No, candy's growing on the trees like in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yeah. We'll have figured that out by then. Absolutely.
Yes.
And everyone's making really crappy art.
Hey, check out the Gaynarchists page. Facebook.com/groups/Gaynarchists. Also, Flaming Freedom has a Facebook page, has its own. We should plug that. Flaming Freedom on Facebook. ShireDude.com, JoeJarvis.me.
Yep.
His book is out. You can buy it with Bitcoin at JoeJarvis.me. And Shire Dude, you've got some other projects going on too, right?
Oh yeah, but it's all accessible at ShireDude.com. You can see all of the shows that I do. Rebel Love Show is the most updated.
Next week we're going to have Anne, the Rebel Mistress, from your Rebel Love Show, join us on Flaming Freedom. I want to thank you guys. It's been a real blast tonight.
Yeah, thank you. It's been very fun.
It's been great. Yeah, thanks, Derek.
All right, good night, guys. Good night, Gaynarchists. We'll see you next week.
Very good.